It's nice to see that we're starting off 2021 pretty much the same way we start off every year without Kevin, who cannot be
Yeah.
counted on for anything.
Well, hey, at least he's doing his homework, so that's a good thing, right? He's being a good boy doing his homework, although he should have done his homework like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's like that kid who's literally like walking into class scribbling the final answers to his homework assignment. That's not cool. I mean, walking into class 45 minutes late.
Skippy, Skippy, what did you get for question 4?
But oh well, all right. I guess we'll just sort of bullshit until he gets here, if he ever gets here.
I I enjoyed another milestone with my daughter.
Oh, she
She
hates you now?
No,
Oh,
no, 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 no. We had a wonderful time the other night. It was like we watched that Amazon thing, the 2020 Death to 2020, which I thought
Netflix, you mean?
was Netflix. Yes,
Oh, you
sorry.
did see that. Oh, I should have
Yeah,
added that to the list. Yeah,
we
I
we watched that, and it was funny. I enjoyed it, and I had a couple of drinks in me, but it was narrated by or hosted or whatever the fuck you want to call it, by Samuel Jackson.
no,
So
what? No, it was narrated by Lawrence Fishburne. One of the
what?
people talking was Samuel L. Jackson, but the main narration was done
Oh yeah, well
by
that's
Lawrence
that's what I
Fishburne.
meant. He was, like the he I guess because I started with him and he was like, "What am I doing?" and they were just talk. Like he was just himself. Other people were playing characters.
Yeah, it's funny
So,
because like I halfway or maybe even two-thirds into the movie, I had to look under, when they show their names and who they are.
right.
It says like he was supposed to be like an editor for New York Times. I'm like, oh,
Oh, was
that's like
he?
a character. Yeah, I'm like,
Then I
oh,
missed that.
or an author or something like that. But basically, just completely, I forgot that you're right. Out of everyone else, like there, he was just being Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
I thought that he was being Sam Jackson. So actually, before that, we watched the history of curse words or whatnot with
I want to see that with Nick Cage.
it was cool. It was fun. I like the etymology of words and stuff like that. So we watched that, and then my wife went to bed, so my daughter and I watched the Death to 2020. But because Sam Jackson was in there, I was like, oh, you know what? We need to watch Snakes on a Plane. So
Oh,
it
I think
was
you're gonna
like,
say the bodyguard, the Hitman's Bodyguard.
oh, we've watched that already.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say. All right.
But I mean, Snakes on a Plane, you gotta say you've watched that.
I really, really did not enjoy that movie. I thought I was gonna enjoy it, and on paper it sounds like how could this possibly not be enjoyable? But
Oh, it's horribly cheesy.
yeah, but I thought it was. I don't know. I kind of expected more cheese. I don't know. It's weird to explain. It's almost like it took itself too seriously at some point. And I mean, maybe
Really?
like,
I didn't
yeah,
get that.
it's like okay. So again, on paper, it sounds like the perfect cheese recipe because because like literally like the mafia people are like, how are we gonna kill him? And the guy's like, well, we're just gonna sneak some snakes on a plane. How else are you gonna kill somebody? What, like with a gun or something? And you're like, oh yeah, this is gonna be amazing. But then the movie just becomes a weird horror movie where these snakes are actually killing people, and you're like. Okay, all right. And then like the
Yeah,
poodle
but
gets eaten. And then at
it's
the
the
very end it gets insane again. But like the middle part is almost a little too like
a little
I
bit.
don't
I
know.
mean, it's the way that these people are getting eaten by the snake. I mean, it's obviously a total cheesy movie. I mean, like getting like, oh no, I like the dog got eaten and all that other shit. And then
Yeah,
like the first 3 quarters of the movie are just a build up. The It only exists for him to be able to go, I'm sick of these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane. Yeah, so I
yeah.
don't see how that movie can actually take itself seriously.
You should watch the PG-13 rated version where he says, what does he say? I'm so tired of these monkey snakes on this monkey plane or something like that. Like,
Oh god, that's horrible.
yeah, there's an entire video showing how what they did to edit out the cursing in that movie, and the substitutions are horrendous. Yeah, it's like I'm tired of this mother father plane and these monkey snakes. It's something absolutely ridiculous. Like,
Oh my
why
god,
even bothering it?
that's pretty funny. Or not really.
It reminds me of when they did a PG-13 version of The Big Lebowski, and you know that part where John Goodman is screaming, "This is what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass."
Vaguely. It's been a while since I've seen
It's
it.
when they confront the kid and they confront him with his homework. Remember when his car gets stolen and inside the car they find like this piece of a kid's homework. So they go to his house and they confront the kid in front of his
Yes.
family.
Yeah.
So John Goodman starts beating the car with a bat and he's screaming, "This is what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass." In the PG-13 version, they replaced it with "This is what happens when you meet a stranger in the Alps." Yes, this is what
uh,
happens when you meet a stranger in the Alps, is what they came up with.
Wait, isn't that? But then he would be singing "The Hills Are Alive" with the sound of music instead of beating a car with a bat, right?
Maybe in the director's cut, I don't know. But yeah, that was. Sometimes you watch these and it's like, dude, just mute it. Just mute it. Mm.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, that's pretty god awful. Also, I really don't think we're taking this full opportunity to make fun of Kevin behind his back while he's not here.
It's true. It's true. So,
So, actually, I'm sorry, I interrupted your story. You were telling me about the great night you had hanging out with your kid, which is awesome, by the way. Like that's
oh
the kind
no,
of
it
thing I'm
was
looking
good.
forward to, just bonding with my daughter when she
I
gets
felt that
older.
was good bonding, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I'm looking forward to introducing her to all the things as well and seeing what actually sticks. Like I would love if she like watched hockey with me, for example, because I have no one to watch hockey with, and I love hockey, and I have no one to watch it with, and it's slowly killing me. And then
Oh,
like I want her to watch like horror movies with me because my wife will not watch horror movies. She hates horror movies. I had
oh no,
to beg her, bribe her, tie her down, and threaten her to watch A Cabin in the Woods, which
that's
is
not a
not
horror movie.
right, exactly. Like I had to explain. I was like, it's a horror movie, but it's not, but I don't want to spoil it, so just please just watch it. Trust me, you will love it.
I mean,
And she
honestly,
did.
Snakes on a Plane is more of a horror movie than fucking than
Well, there's some really weird movies that are defined as horror movies. I was just talking to oh, man, I forget what the movie was. Me and my friend were just talking about something. Um, well, okay, I mean this is gonna make for really amazing listenings, like as I try to remember the name of a movie that I had with a during a conversation with a person who's not even on this podcast. But yeah,
that's why you could edit stuff out.
yeah, it's true. But I did find it funny that years ago, and you can look this up. Time Magazine came out with a list of the top horror movies of all time.
Uh-huh.
Did you hear about this?
No.
Okay, so this came out like, I think maybe like 15 years ago. Top like 100, 100 or top 20 horror movies of all time. Do you want to take a completely wild guess what number one was? You will never guess it, but just take a stab at it.
I don't know. Halloween.
No, no, no. Bambi. They named Bambi the top horror movie of all time.
Uh,
Google it if you don't believe me.
I know I believe you,
No, I'm
but
talking
like,
to our I'm talking to our listener.
oh,
Because who's
sorry.
ever hearing this is going, no, this is another thing that Skippy just fucking made up, like he makes everything up. But no, they actually said they said the first part of the movie where because it's supposed to be a kids movie, watching that part where his mother is murdered and like right before him and he has to like live through all of that is one of the most fucked up things you can show to a child.
Yeah, uh, okay, that might be a fucked up thing to show to a kid, but it doesn't mean that it's winning the Oscar for like best horror film.
No, not best. They're saying it's like the scariest horror movie of all
Right.
time.
No, I understand that. And then to me, like the what would make like the scariest movie would be the best horror film. I mean, if that's the case, if they did that now, it would be any press conference that Trump gave.
Well, yeah, now we've lived the worst horror movie of all time, so nothing like you literally can't scare like that's the thing. Like in the last few years, like watching horror movies and disaster movies or just like really sad, depressing movies, you're like, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
it's oh, so
So
this is a documentary
yeah,
that's
exactly, yeah. So Death to 2020 Part 75. I don't know. It's like, yeah, I don't feel bad for any of you people. It's like, yeah, you got murdered by a psychopath and then got stuffed in a trunk. But we had 4 years of Trump. I mean, it was a
six of
slow
one, half a
burn.
dozen of another. Like,
Yeah, at least yours ended relatively quickly. Like, oh, your family was murdered in front of you. Oh, we watched the entire country murdered in front of us for 4 years. So,
good
uh,
times.
yeah, I'm actually kind of glad that we took such a long break because it's kind of nice to know that at least some of that is now behind us. We can like I know nothing amazing has completely happened since the years we switched into 2021, but it's nice that we just kind of took a break for all that time, just because that's all we would be talking about.
Yeah, really. It's true. It really is. And
Yeah,
we'll finish up now, but
yeah, we're still. I mean, it's still dragging nicely into it. I mean, we started the year off with a nice like little civil war, but
well, that's all, it's always good to keep you on your toes.
So I think Kevin is trying to jump on at this point.
He's
No, ah, shit, he found a way to join.
Oh, he joined. Damn it.
Uh, all right, let's talk about something else other than his face.
You're
Uh,
all pissed at me?
his
Yeah, I
his
got nothing.
butt, his
I got
ass.
nothing. What's the difference?
I was trying to figure out
What's
if you were
up?
live yet. Oh, you are.
Yeah, you
I
better
didn't
be,
have to
dude.
watch the show.
Yeah, you better
Hi,
be, dude.
Kevin. Yes, you did. You
It's a
did.
movie. Oh my God, did you watch a show called Tenet? Did you watch the wrong thing?
No.
Okay, all right.
He's like, wait, this was about someone that was like renting an apartment. I don't get it. Like,
It was
Yeah,
on the 13th floor.
yeah.
yeah, guys, it's not that much of a twist. I get it. He was, he he finally paid his mortgage. Great, sweet. So did you actually finish the movie?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll get to it. I think we should leave that for the end when we're nice and boozed up. So actually, before we even get to that, the first episode of 2021, it finally has arrived. Oh my God, it's here, and everything is just as bad as it was in 2020. We could have literally not waited a bunch of months. We could have just done episodes and complained about exactly the same shit as we have been for the last, 4 years.
It's true.
Although me and Jerry were talking about that now we have the added benefit of a little civil war, so there's that.
I feel like there's less on the other side than there was previously. I don't know if
Less
that's
on
true.
less on the other side. What do you mean?
The pro-Trump side.
Well, no, because they all have their own little social networks now. We just don't see them as much because they all moved on.
I think they're a little divided, though.
So the GOP and the Trump supporters are divided, yes, but I don't know. I can't. You know what? I'd rather I just need a break from all that shit. I really do.
Yep, I agree. I mean, it's like
So
now we have two enemies instead of one.
yeah, pretty much. Well, no, that's okay. The GOP is now our friend, so yeah, it's fine. That's a whole nother fucking. That's a whole episode all on its own. Hey, so I'm drinking butterscotch whiskey. Here you go.
Nice.
You can see it. This was given to me
Wow.
by a very good friend, who may or may not be Jerry.
I'm getting screwed.
Oh, you got screwball. So my screwball ran out.
Yeah.
My delicious, delicious peanut butter flavored screwball whiskey is dry.
There's more of it waiting for you soon. I mean,
Yes,
if
there's.
if my deadbeat kid doesn't drop it off, you can always go get it.
Yeah, no, I
The
will.
courier
Absolutely.
is on his way.
Yes, I'm glad to know that it's literally down the road. I'm still amazed that I can't just fucking go to a liquor store and buy it. Like, what the hell, man?
Yeah, that's kind of weird. Especially, it seems like it's wildly popular. So,
It is, and it's getting more popular. And there's some really no-name weird whiskey, scotches, and bourbons that are lining the shelves of my local ABC store, and yet the stuff that I want is nowhere to be found. Like I can't find Monkey Shoulder anywhere. My friend had to get that to me as well. It's a really good scotch that I like, and it is nowhere to be found around here, or at least I can't find it.
hmm.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry, I have to pause. Monkey Shoulder, if you can find it, please get it. I don't mean for me, just get it for yourself. It is very, very good.
Oh, okay.
It also has a little cute little like monkey medallion on the bottle. It's really cute. It's like a metal
Oh,
medallion.
you can't go wrong with a monkey.
No, you can't. Well, unless you don't put diapers on them and let them run around your house.
All kinds of monkey business then.
Oh God.
So glad you made the podcast, Kevin. It really sucked until you got here with your sense of humor.
God
Maybe you can.
damn.
I
What would
think
you
I'm
do if I
lo-
didn't laugh at myself? There'd be
I think
like
I'm losing him. Oh no.
We
I think
just
he's
edit
cutting
you
out.
out.
I think it's cutting out. Damn you, Comcast. All right, so what are you guys drinking?
I just told you, screwball, dude. Like, really? Do you not listen
I
to
have.
a
No, I've
word
been
I
drinking
fucking
butterscotch whiskey waiting for Kevin to get here. I sure
Kevin's
some
drinking
whiskey.
a fuzzy navel glass or something. His Skype is Nope. This is the PG-13 Skype. I guess it can't show you drinking alcohol.
You've- this is Biden's America, man. Censorship. That's it. They kicked Trump off Twitter. Now we can't see what Kevin's drinking. This is how it starts. Riot in the streets. Kevin, I can't tell from the glass what you're drinking.
It's a vodka and a tiny bit of Red Bull just to like cut the sharpest part of the liquor.
Which flavor Red Bull?
It's the peach one.
Ooh, I like me some peach. That's very nice.
Ever since I haven't actually gone shopping at the liquor store since the incident, and then my drinking is like tremendously lessened since then.
You don't stop on the way home from the fish store at all?
No. No, it's funny. I think I spent like $250 right before. And
what, at the fish store?
I had all. No.
Oh, man, I hope that includes kissing, because that always costs extra.
No. So I got stocked up on booze and stuff right before I was in the hospital, which is what I was talking about.
That's a great story. And so I went out I bought so much booze before I had to go to the hospital.
You're right. I stocked up, went to the hospital, and wasn't drinking for several months.
Oh, okay. By the way, you're very quiet, just so you know. I think you need to turn your mic up.
He's always quiet.
Yeah, Kevin, I'm amazed how after 3 years you have not figured out your microphone issue. It is incredible.
Everywhere else.
You don't use it anywhere else.
All the time.
Where? Where do you use it?
Talking to people all the time.
That sounds like a made-up story.
Like everything is role play twice a week, and all other times.
Maybe they can't hear you, but that's how they prefer it.
Yeah, that's how they tolerate.
Yeah, they just mute you anyway, and it's like, no, Kevin, that's a really good point. Definitely.
Who's that guy that's talking in the corner but not making any noise? Oh, that's just Kevin. It's okay. We just keep him there because we feel bad.
It's funny. Most of the time they have to lower my output on their side.
Oh, yeah, because you have that big dick energy with your mic.
Let me just whip out my huge mic. Anyway, so Kevin, I don't know if you had a chance to look at the list, but we tried to keep a short list of topics since it can't be too long of an episode. So I don't know if you have anything. I did want to get your input on something at some point, but I don't know if you have a preferred order of things you want to discuss.
Start us off.
All right. Well, okay. Let's just since we're starting with 2021, let's just talk about the elephant in the room. Just get it out of the way. Pretty much the worst part of 2020 that affected a lot of people. You know, there was sort of like a little cult formed around it. A bunch of stubborn assholes that are convinced that they were right, and there's no changing their mind. And I have a feeling they're going to make the same mistake again. And it's this whole huge thing that dominated the news and
Cyberpunk 2077.
Yes, I am, of course, talking about Cyberpunk 2077. So, Kevin, as part of the cult that refuses to wear masks and like Cyberpunk 2077, I was hoping to get some feedback.
Don't put me in that side.
I'm sorry, as part of the cult that pre-ordered 2077 that has not learned their lesson since Fallout 76.
Wait, I enjoyed Fallout 76.
Yeah,
I spent enough hours to have a positive or greater than 1 Kevin score for Fallout 76.
That is a good point. So, but all just like here's my question. So I don't think there's any point arguing about the fact that they dropped the ball on the old console version, something they really should have never done. But I am curious to hear your thoughts on the game itself, though. And here's the thing: I don't know where Jerry stands on it. I'm never going to play it, so I don't care about spoilers.
But I haven't played it, and I doubt I will. So I don't really have thoughts on it.
So Kevin,
I'm kind of blank stare.
Well, once again, I happen to really like the genre, so that's why I knew I was going to play. No, I'm still somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
But you know, there's glitchy moments, but I also think like the hype and is about this bar that's never attainable, and I'm not too convinced that there was ever a game out there. Actually, in the scope of games that try to do like facial expressions and like high-end graphic stuff, there tends to be a lot of glitchy moments, like clipped characters or whatever. And maybe the only time you get a game that's got barely, if any, glitches is like the old school ones where the graphics weren't so high end. So, like, to me, the game is where it's supposed to be. It's enjoyable. You can play hours and sort of, yes, every once in a while come across something, but you're still immersed in the whole, everyone is voice acted. You don't talk to anybody without some kind of voice act. Uh, that already is like a really good experience. And then gameplay and the hacking and all that stuff, again, that's genre stuff. So for me, it's been a lot of fun. Now I'm on the PC. I'm not on one of the consoles where most of this crap is, the glitchy stuff and the uh, slow frame rates and all that kind of stuff. So
Well,
I'm,
I think they got a lot of
Fucking
shit for the.
consoles.
Well, no, hold on. First
yeah,
of all, it works fine on the new. Well, not fine, but it works better on the new consoles. The whole issue with the old consoles was that they came out and said that the game runs great on the previous gens, and when they released the game, they gave reviewers the PC version in advance, and then they waited until the day before the game came out to give them the console version. So none of them really had a chance to do like an in-depth review of how it ran on the previous consoles. And the couple of people that did sort of get a review out and were like, whoa, 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 this game is completely fucking broken on the old hardware. They were attacked on social media and other things by fanboys saying, oh, you guys just can't admit that this is a good game. You guys have to nitpick about something. Fine, it has a couple of bugs, blah, blah, blah. And then they went out and got the game and were like, I want a refund.
yeah, really.
So that's the problem. The other criticism they're getting is that shortly before this game came out, a game called, I don't know if you ever played it, but Ghost of Tsushima came out. Anybody familiar with that game?
No.
No, I never
Yeah.
heard it.
All right. Well, fucking under a goddamn rock. Anyway, Ghost of Tsushima is, I'm not a fan of it just because the genre is not really my thing, but it is an incredibly graphically intensive game, and it has a lot of the same sort of, I would say it shares a similar load to Cyberpunk. It's not the same kind of game, and of course there's differences. And like I'm sure if I said this out loud, I would be stoned in the courtyard by real gamers. But the thing is, like, it is a very very advanced looking game, almost a next gen game that's running flawlessly from day one on old hardware. So that's where kind of CD Projekt Red went into a wall, because as soon as they said, oh well, there's a lot of graphics, there's a lot of this, there's a lot of that, everybody was like, well, Ghost of Tsushima is just as heavy as your game, and it runs perfectly and has from the first day. So it's a bit of a you know
I think the problem, and I don't know about Ghost of Tsushima or whatever, but the thing that they tried to do in Cyberpunk was take advantage of, let's call it like 30 series graphics cards, which have like
yes,
AI,
ray tracing, all that shit.
processing, yeah, the ray tracing, all that kind of stuff. And I think because their game is trying to utilize that new stuff, that's not backwards compatible. So they had to, I don't know, make two versions. Maybe that was the challenge, is because they're working with the new tech, but maybe Ghosts of uh, Toshima,
Sushimi?
Tsushima.
Toshima, didn't try to do all that stuff and looks great on, let's
Yeah, it
call
was
it
built. Yeah, it
Jericho,
was built.
whatever.
It was built for that. Yes, it was built and optimized for the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. So yeah, I don't know. I just think that if they just said, look, it's meant for next gen hardware, that's fine. If it wasn't for this weird money grab, I think they would have been fine. And I'm sure it's still a good game. I just it's just this one thing that sort of kind of tarnished their reputation a little bit, and I think needlessly, because from what I understand, almost everybody who got it for the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 ended up refunding it anyway.
Yeah, unplayable. I
So
mean,
they didn't really make the money there, and it sort of stained their reputation.
agreed. Like, the technology was out there to make really good facial expressions. I mean, even several years ago, like, I know you didn't like the game, but the Detroit game
Oh
had
yeah, I
some
hate that game.
really good. But the point I'm making is they had a really
When you
good.
refer to it as a game, can you use quotation marks, please?
Well, see, I enjoyed that quote unquote game.
There you go. Thank you.
And but the point I'm saying is that had really good um graphics for the face. Let's say when people are talking or zoomed in, you got facial expressions and all of that kind of stuff. Fast forward to a game like Cyberpunk trying to take advantage of shit in the 30 series. Like, okay, I don't even get to view that stuff because my card is still a 10 series. So it's like, okay, fine. Like, I don't even, it almost sort of like tried to do more than it should have.
Well, what's the game that Rockstar made a few years ago that like it was supposed to be what like a 1930s detective thing where they pretty much like I don't want to say pioneered, but apparently that game had some of the best like facial movement stuff at the time. That still kind of holds up a little bit at this point. Do you know what I'm talking about? Not the Mafia games,
Not
but it was
Red Dead, right?
no. It came out before Red Dead 2. It was literally they never made a sequel to it. Ah, it's gonna bug me. Jerry, can you Google it really quick? Just Rockstar crime murder mystery game. I'm just blanking on the name. They actually did. They used motion capture on people's faces. It was really considered revolutionary at the time. The game was more or less mediocre, and I think that's why it didn't do. It maybe it was called like LA Noir or something. Or that might have been the movie.
Yeah, L.A. Noir.
Yeah. So that game. Okay, so what year did that game come out?
2011. I don't
Yeah.
think that's it though.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, LA Noire. So, I mean, 10 years ago, a game that had pretty advanced like facial tracking came out. The fact that, again, at this point, it's a little like you guys should have had this figured out. Unless they tried some new method that hasn't been used before and it just didn't really work out the way they planned. But I think so. One of my biggest questions about the game is I think we were talking about when we were watching the previews for it. The reason I kind of really didn't have interest in it is it seemed like a very pretty game that didn't really introduce anything new. Since you've played it so much, is there anything like really that's really sort of you see anything that you haven't seen before 1,000 times instead of just fetch quests and first person shooting and predictable storylines, backstabbing, whatever twist?
No, not the. Again, this is a genre. To me, it's about let's bring a new plot narrative, right? In terms of like gameplay and like pull up a map and see random, missions all over the place. No, it's nothing new. I've seen that in mini games like this. Um, the mini game for hacking is sort of like standard. The
Is
hacking
it like the
people on
same
the
thing every time you hack something?
yeah, there's just like a number grid code thing that you have to go through, and it's just like a short puzzle.
Yeah.
And then sort of like clicking on a person and, selecting some kind of quick hack is nothing different than Watch Dogs, really. So, but the thing that is enticing is, if you're a fan of the genre, ever like the movie and the books for Netrunner and all that kind of stuff, then this fits it, right? Now you're sort of immersed in that world, and or if you happen to play the role playing game, it puts you into that genre. I'm not sure how many people in the world actually play the role playing game. Probably a tiny selection of the folks that bought the video game, but to me, it's about plot and the storylines, and some of them are a little off the wall. Like one of the missions, spoilers, but at this point we're sort of advanced into the time frame of it being out. Right? Is this guy you get involved with this guy that wants to brain dance his death being crucified on a cross, which is
Wait. I'm sorry. Wait. He wants to brain dance?
so brain dance is like record
Oh.
your mind state as you're doing stuff. So in
Wait, is
his
this like a
case,
common term? Because you just sort of skip right over, like, oh, just brain dancing over here. Is that like
it,
a term I should know?
I've
yeah,
never heard that
brain
before.
dance. Yes, if you've read articles, which I know you have, but brain dance is the thing that caused the lights and graphics during a brain dance is what causes the epilepsy.
Oh,
Those
okay.
articles, because
Oh, that's
it's like
interesting.
a white light and a red light starts it, and then you're in like a recording of somebody else. That's what a brain dance is.
Wait, in real life or in the game?
No, in the game.
Oh, okay. I'm
I
We
think
don't
it's
have the
causing
technology.
epilepsy in real life.
because when you said
But
epilepsy, yeah, I didn't know what you meant.
Okay,
You gotta
I'm
draw.
gonna.
You gotta explain where reality stops and the game picks up.
I
Because
made a lot of assumptions that people who have read articles criticizing the game, heard about the epilepsy
I mean,
situation,
I've listened to some articles.
and then funny, and then in this particular situation, the graphics for somebody immersing into a brain dance in the game flashes like strobes, white and red lights, which causes epilepsy in real life. My point so the point is like there's all kinds of plot stories, and one of the missions has been a little controversial because it's about somebody who thinks they're a messiah and they want to brain dance record their death,
Oh, okay.
which is, I mean, if you can imagine, a lot of people would be upset by that kind of thing. So, but am I saying that makes it good plot? No, not necessarily. I'm just saying that they have a lot of plots or subplots and submissions that bring you all over the spectrum of crazy Night City shenanigans, is what I'm getting at. It is very immersive about, okay, I'm going to go to this quadrant of the city and go start doing missions. Well, now you're dealing with this gang or
How's the
that
world
gang.
building? Sorry, how's the world building in the game?
The I don't see the character changing the world, if that's what you mean. The
Well,
Night City exists and you sort of live in it. I don't
no, I
really
mean as far
see.
as how they develop, I guess the world around you, not so much as how much you change it, but how much uh, just how much thought and detail is put into the world that the game takes place in, basically. Like, is it something like a little bit like in some games it's like an afterthought. Some games take place in the modern world. Some games you really have to. They don't do enough to sort of immerse you in it.
Yeah, I think it's fairly immersive, and I think the biggest thing that helps do that is it's huge. The city is tremendous. Like in a car driving down the street trying to get from one end to the other takes several minutes in real life. Like it really is a large
But
map.
does that anything to the game, or is that just filler? Like if you're driving from one part of the city to another, is there is there a reason why that exists?
Well, no, I'm just saying that it's so huge. You're in one. Let's say you're walking around, not without any particular mission in mind, and you're just sort of walking around. There's, you know, the living city, like people walking around or whatever. And I
Okay.
and I know they don't have like that AI. People don't do the same routine. Like yet another article I'm assuming people read is that there was supposed to be a feature where like an AI gave sort of um, a decision making process to every NPC in the game, like civilians and all that kind of stuff. And I think that was taken out, but somehow they still got it to the point where I'm walking through, like just walking through and like bumping into somebody. They're like, "Hey, fuck you," whatever. That kind of stuff is immersion to me, right? Like
Okay,
I
then one
actually
more
care
question.
about not running and like jumping over a kid, and like, hey, whatever, because it like feels like, oh shit, I just jumped and kicked a kid to the ground, that kind of thing.
Oh no, I really want to get this game. So then the other question is, one of the other things that I heard, I don't know if that affects gameplay at all, is people did say that it's a big city, but people mentioned the fact that it's big, but it's sort of flat and dead to the extent that you can't really enter most of the buildings. You can't really interact with most of the stuff. It's sort of just, you know, like a pretty background that you can look at while you pass by it. But because you can't interact with things willy nilly, you can only go from like, point A to point B, and then at point B, you can enter a building. But everything you encounter before that is pretty much inaccessible. That sort of takes you out of it a little bit. Did you kind of feel that way at
Yeah,
all?
that exists. I mean, in to me, a huge example is um, I'm gonna do a quick compare, and I don't want to drag it out, but Deus Ex, the second game, not the last one, was sort of a very tight map, and
Wait,
It
I'm
was
sorry. Do you mean not Human Revolution, the one that came before Human Revolution, or are you talking about the old Deus Ex?
no, the latest one. So I think the Human Revelation. No,
Okay.
wasn't there one after that?
I'm
And
always forgetting the name.
because
There's
one
two
was
of the
really
modern ones.
amazing, and then the
There's
second one, or the most recent, the last one that came out, I played that till the end, and
let me
the
see.
map itself was those were like it's hard to explain. Like the map was very small, and you felt like you were contained in this small area. When you go into Cyberpunk, it's like holy shit, I can go everywhere. But you're right. Generally speaking, that's like a macro view. The map at large is huge, but you can't go into every single building. Just like so what you're describing is this type of situation I felt more often in that game, but in Cyberpunk, I don't feel inclined to want to explore some stupid building on the side of the road. Like
No,
so that doesn't ping as a big deal to me.
it's it seems like what they promised was it's another what was that game year or two back, No Man's Sky, where they're like you could go everywhere and everything and interact with everyone, and when they were first
Oof, yeah.
putting it out, it seemed like when they were first advertising Cyberpunk, they were like, and it sounded or they made it feel like you could go into any building, in any room, any floor, and there was something always there, and people interacted with you. It was like the Matrix beta, they made it, and then of course that's too lofty a goal, and then when they finally put it out there and you can't do that shit, people are like, oh, this sucks, this is ridiculous.
I don't like that analogy because No Man's Sky was like
A complete
totally
lie.
crap in the beginning,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
it took what
I
two
agree.
years for it to actually achieve its goal. Cyberpunk 2077 is like I would say I'm gonna conservatively say 85% at what they promised, and then the hype blew that 15% out of the water, like made it ridiculously huge. Like yes, consoles totally understand in a PlayStation 4 world, yeah, your game sucked ass, and but for everyone on PC, I got a huge amount of content and a huge explorable world where every interaction with somebody was spoken communication, not just like text via, like a hidden text message system or something.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree. I think both games definitely made the same mistake of overpromising, but yeah, I have to agree. I think that No Man's Sky was just an outright lie when it came out with, whereas 2077 at least got a good chunk of the way there and then just eliminated some stuff towards the end. By the way, just really quick, the games were called Human Revolution and then Mankind Divided. That's of Deus
Yeah, the
Ex.
Mankind Divided was sort of like much smaller than the other one.
Yeah. But I'm still gonna fall back, even though, like I said, I'm sort of excusing 2077. I still think that I'm never gonna let go of the whole like pre-order. This is why you don't pre-order games.
Well,
I'm gonna
first of
stress
all,
this. No, I'm gonna stress this till the day I die. Like every year, we have at least one of these fucking broken promise games. It's just a
no, but
matter of
hold
how
on.
where the
Yeah, but
scale
in
is.
I'm going to defend Kevin here for a second. And if it's a game that like I love the genre and I'm going to want to play that if it's half of that game and you get a pre-order with some deal, you might as well go for it, you know?
But pre-orders are never deals. Pre-orders, you're actually overpaying for the game. The day
No,
before Cyberpunk
why?
2077 launched, there was an insane amount of deals and discounts on the game.
I didn't
Everybody
see
who
any of
pre
them.
I sent you a bunch. All you have to do was set your VPN to Mother Russia, and you got the game for like $20.
Well, the
Duh.
in this
Yeah,
case, like you might
yeah,
have an
yeah. Are
argument.
you planning to play this in Russia? Duh.
Duh.
I actually got the pre-order on GOG for I think a 15% discount. So I actually paid less than the majority of people paid on the day of. But I didn't see deals the day of, like, and other than
But you didn't even get the game early. You got nothing for your
I
pre-order.
got it
That's what I keep
about
coming back
10
to.
months after I paid for it. You're totally correct.
Right. So yeah, that's I just don't I just don't understand pre-orders. I will never understand the
Because
point of it,
here's
especially
why.
in the day of digital downloads where it's not even like you could say, well, they're only going to have so many copies on launch day, so you want to pre-order so that you at least get it on launch day. Even that's kind of sad, but okay, I understand. But now that most people download their games, pre-orders just make no sense to me at all.
If there's a sale, then it has a reason.
I think anybody that pre-orders it, if the game has paid DLC later, I think everybody that pre-orders the game should at least get one free DLC, and that's it. Like no questions asked. I like even that would make it worth it somewhat. I still wouldn't do it, but
I've got burned on pre-orders. You're definitely not wrong. Like there was this stupid game I think called Brink, and it literally never worked on my computer when it finally came out. And I think I paid the $50 mark on it, and never got to play it. And I'll never let that down. Like so.
Oh no, Kevin, you were the mark.
But when you talk about Fallout 76, I played it with a very positive Kevin score, and then
I love how you have to keep defending Fallout 76.
Cyberpunk.
Like, no, man, I
point
love
is-
Fallout. Shut up. It was great. I'm playing it right now.
The point is, I did not lose money on it in the sense that like I played the Kevin rating on it, which is is 1 hour per dollar that you spend on a game is in my book worth it.
But it has to be a good hour. It can't just be I can boot up a game and just like leave the room and be like, I played this game for 700. Like I technically got 300 hours of Civ 6 before I returned it, but it's a shit game and I wouldn't give it a high Kevin score, even though I got hundreds of hours under it.
We'd still be playing that game today if you didn't return it.
I have it. I got it from Epic. I told you. I have the game.
Oh. We should play that.
It was amazing. I threw a huge hissy fit at Steam. Like I finally got my refund. They like suspended me for 6 months, and then the next day, Epic's like, "Hey, you want Civ 6 for free?" I'm like, "Yeah, I want it for free. I love Epic. This is awesome."
You have to be honest with yourself if like this is like any other vice, right? If you're gonna claim, well, I got the good Kevin score, you have to be honest with yourself that you actually played those hours.
Okay, if I was honest with myself, first of all, I wouldn't drink as much whiskey, less it be less painful.
Well, anyway.
But, yeah. No, but that's good. But basically, I mean, from what I understand, you are happy with the game, and overall, you don't regret buying it. So, and you're getting your you're getting well more than your money's worth, let's say, out of the game. From what I understand.
That's correct.
Did they announce is the DLC going to be paid for it, or is it just going to be given to everybody? Because I think Project Red tends to give free DLC. They did that for The Witcher. I think the DLC was free, which is really nice.
Yeah, I think it's free.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But you're talking to someone who, out of all of his role-playing time that he does, one of them is Shadowrun, which is a cyberpunk-esque type of genre. So to me, this was like all in our group of the Shadowrun group players. We've all played it, and most of the folks have actually finished the game. And I'm a little behind as usual, just like movie.
No, we never noticed that.
No.
You have no idea what I'm talking about.
No. Oh, you know what? I did want to ask about another game, and Jerry, I'm sorry because I'm seeing your eyes slowly glaze over since you don't play anything that's not like a clicker or Pornhub. But I did have a question, Kevin, about Hades. The reason I wanted to ask you about it is because I've seen a bunch of playthroughs of Hades, and it doesn't seem really remotely interesting to me. But when I say everybody, I literally mean everybody who has played it has told me it is one of the it is as close to a perfect game as you can possibly get. People love this fucking game.
The amount of I don't know any other way to put this, but the amount of love that the developers put into presenting that every aspect of that game is profound. Like running around and the voice actors and their interaction with somebody else and the character development of, I mean, these are characters that we're supposed to sort of know of from, what is it, Greek mythology. But,
right.
When you hear them speaking to you and you have the interaction, it's like, wow, that's awesome. And then you go and like do your roguelike and then come back and then die for the 50th time and come back out of the pool of blood. And then you walk down that hall. You're sort of like, oh, okay. And then the build up, there's all kinds of build up on the different angles that you want to build up. Uh, like you're buying things in game, or you're building up 5 different currencies to buy like tapestry in the world, and then you go out and like power up your weapons and all the combo stuff. Like it's definitely got the elements. They hit the roguelike gameplay very well, and then they brought you good content and character development into the whole background of it, which
Okay, so
makes
yeah,
it amazing.
right, so you're echoing pretty much everything I've heard. People said, yeah, it's pretty much the perfect roguelite, and the story is supposed to be absolutely amazing. So that's pretty much
I
what I
was
heard.
I was playing alpha for hours and hours, and when I get to it, I'm not gonna remember the name of the song, but at one point I was like, oh my god, that the song that somebody is singing
Oh
in
yeah,
the
the music
game,
is supposed to be
the
phenomenal in as
the
well.
muse is singing a song. I was like, YouTube that shit. I need to hear that, and I would like play that in real life just to listen to her singing.
Wait, her?
Yeah, one of
Muse?
the female characters in the
Oh,
game.
when you said Muse, I thought they had music from the Muse, the band the
No,
Muse. I was
no.
like, okay, never
No,
mind.
in the game, there's
Okay.
I'm not my memory is failing. I've already finished my drink, but the
Before we get to Tenet, don't worry.
yeah. Oh my goodness. Actually, I followed that movie pretty well.
Hold on. That's
Not
once we
yet.
start going down that rabbit hole, we're not gonna stop. So, Jerry, do you know
So
the game Hades, by the way? Have you played
I
it?
know it. I haven't played it,
Okay,
but
I think I'm just gonna pull the trigger and get it because this sounds like it might
yeah.
be the same thing as Darkest Dungeon, where people were telling me for a while that it's such a great game, and I was like, this is so not my thing. I'm not gonna do it. And Darkest Dungeon is in like my top five of all time favorite games at this
did
point.
you
So
play Dead
I
Cells
love this
at
game.
all?
Darkest Dungeon was cool, and I liked the mechanics of it, but
Don't badmouth.
sometimes like
Don't.
no,
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 I'm
no.
not even going to entertain this
I'm
argument.
not
Dark
bad
Dungeon is
mouthing.
amazing.
Stop.
No, I will. I
When
will
it's
edit. I'm
like
going to edit this out. I will
when
delete
it's
whatever the fuck you're going to say. So you might as well just not say it.
when I personally feel like I'm just like constantly battling uphill, if it's like a Sisyphean task to do it,
Ooh,
like
Sisyphean. Ooh.
yeah, you
That's
like
right.
that. I like sometimes I'm like, I'll play something else, and I felt that Darkest Dungeon was like that. It was a little bit too like, and it was a little bit too the odds are against the player, you know.
You know what? I felt that way, I think, through my first playthrough, and then I forget if I told you the story, but Steam somehow managed to delete all my save files from Darkest Dungeon.
I
I got
remember you
Yeah, I played a
bitching and
shit ton
moaning
of
about
hours
that.
and then they just deleted everything. And so I had to restart it from scratch. On my second playthrough, I feel the game is way less burdensome than the first time because I understand the mechanics a lot better.
Gotcha.
And I thought I would be maybe bored with it the second time. I'm like, I have to rebuild everything and this is going to be a drag. Not at all. Like from the moment I started playing it, I was like, no, this game is. It doesn't matter which stage of the game you're playing, and that's one of my favorite things about it. Some people said like, oh, it kind of drags out in the middle and it's way too much of a slugfest and blah blah blah. I just don't
Uh-huh.
care. Like I hope this game never ends. I can redo these missions a million times and every time I go into the dungeon, I fucking have a great time.
That's
There's
cool.
just so much love put into that game. Every little detail from the artwork to the sound effects, to the animation, to the music, to the narration, everything is just perfect. Absolutely perfect. Love that game. So anyway, but
Did you
so I
ever
think
finish it?
no, I am literally putting off finishing it. I can go into the darkest dungeon and I'm holding it off. I have like old level sixes and everything, and I do not want to. I know how it ends. I watched
Right. Yeah.
the documentary about making it where the guy's like, yeah, you know what I love the best? The ending. Here it is. Blah 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 blah. And that's how the game ends. Thanks for coming, everybody. Hope you enjoyed my TED talk. And I'm like, okay, great. But it honestly for me, I don't even feel that bad. Like to me, the ending is really good, but I'm not is even if the ending was terrible, it would not take anything away from the game for me.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see.
I might try Hades. It
Yeah,
sounds
I think I'm just gonna get it. It's so again, watching it played, I'm just like, it looks okay. But the fact that I have not heard anyone say anything short of how amazing it is really making me feel like I'm missing out on something. Like you have to play it to really appreciate it.
It was
So
really cool to see, like, when it went 1.0, a huge surge in a bunch of groups, like a board game group, started talking about, oh, this game is great. And when I was like, yeah, it is great. Like, why weren't you playing it 3 months ago?
yeah, I'm trying to remember what other games they made because I know I played their I, I played their other games and I didn't think they were. I thought they were okay. Does anyone know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
No,
And
Give me.
I don't know
it's
who
failing
does.
me to remember the name of the games.
So one of them was actually we talked about before that I thought it was a good game, but it was a little it's what's her name? Supergiant Games, and they made give me a break because I'm sorry a second because I'm going to because the thing once I start mentioning the games you'll know. So they made Bastion, Pyre, Transistor. I played Pyre, Bastion, and Transistor.
I've
Bastion was
played
really good.
Transistor a little bit.
Bastion was really nice.
Bastion was really good, but I did get bored of it eventually and just gave up. Pyre, I barely tried. I should go back and see what I heard. It's really good. Transistor is the one that I had an issue with, where I really wanted to like it, but that game was so fucking repetitive. I couldn't play it anymore. I think
Wasn't
after
that
half an
like
hour.
a free one on Epic or something? Because I
Yes.
remember
Yeah.
playing that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's where you have like a talking sword and it's
Yeah.
sort of cyberpunky a little bit.
Yeah.
And but I just like I felt like every like room, every battle you enter is just the same freaking thing over and over again, so I just gave up. That's why I've been a little cautious with Hades, but apparently Hades just blows all that out of the water anyway. So yeah, I think the point of this podcast is that Skippy's gonna try Hades. Thank you for
You know what? Maybe I'll
No,
try
he
that
won't.
with you, and we'll discuss it again next
It's
episode. And
it's a one player, so you're on your own.
okay.
oh, come on! Like we could actually coordinate a
Yeah,
multiplayer
seriously.
game. What the
So this
fuck,
game is
dude?
actually so this game is actually gonna get played. Okay.
Have you met us?
Yeah. All right. So
So,
since
Kevin, your homework.
oh no 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 no
What
no hold on
did
we're
you
gonna take a
think?
break here. Wait no 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 hold on we're gonna take a break here so Kevin can refill and we're going to also refill and then we're gonna go down the rabbit hole of Tenet.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
All right. I love how during every break Jerry has to stuff food in his face on every fucking podcast. Every time we come back from a
What?
break, your cheeks are flapping up and down.
I was eating a ball, a tasty, tasty ball. I love to put tasty balls in my mouth.
Podcast with
I have a tasty
doing a
ball.
podcast with a fucking child. I swear to God.
It's nutty. It's got nuts in it. I like to eat nutty balls.
I'm just gonna wait for you to get this all out of your system.
I'm agreeing with you.
It's done.
nodding.
I'm gonna
My
put
head
the
is
nutty
bobbing.
balls away.
Okay, are you finished?
Yes.
Okay,
I
good.
won't have any more balls in my mouth this podcast can be. Not even yours.
Okay, let me ask again. Are you finished? Okay, so we were gonna talk about Tenet, but I wanted to get my little conspiracy theory out of the way, like really quick, and then you guys can call me crazy, and we can talk about Tenet, which has a lot more weird conspiracies and things that we don't understand. So here's my crazy theory. Ready? Okay. So
I
going
disagree.
into
That was
touche,
perfect timing.
touche. I see your
You
point,
up-
but let me counter
caught
with
me
this.
off guard.
Okay, so going under the assumption that the United States is an oligarchy, okay, and it is, I can argue that later, but let's just say it's an oligarchy, okay? Are you googling oligarchy? I saw you reach out to your keyboard. I'm like,
No,
an
that's
ol-
not the word.
okay, so assuming that the U.S. is an oligarchy, okay, my conspiracy theory was that since the wealth gap keeps widening between the lower class and the upper class, right?
No, it's
The
worse.
rich keep getting richer, the poor keep getting poor, and the middle class is getting basically erased as we go along.
That's true
My
because
theory.
I
Let me
have
finish.
a share
Uh,
in Tesla stock and I'm getting richer. But go
Yeah.
on.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. You're part of the problem, and you'll see why in a second. So my thing was that the rich sat down and figured, you know what? At some point, the wealth gap is going to get so big, but we needed to like really, 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 we needed to spread out way more when we're like we can't be overthrown, we can't be fucked with, we're completely protected. But Before we get to that point, to make sure that nobody fucks things up, right? We need something to distract people from the fact that this is happening. Now, the best way to do it is to show people, or either show people, or again, just kind of distract them with a vision or a version of America that is so fucking horrible, that is so bad, that's so tragic and so depressing and so just detrimental to everybody that they're gonna not only completely forget what we're doing, but once they can just undo that horror and just end that nightmare, they're going to be so thankful that the version of America that we've been building over the last few decades, where again that wealth gap is getting wider and wider, is going to seem like a fucking blessing to them. And we can just keep doing everything we're doing. So they placed Trump and all this shit into our lives to show us literally like the worst fucking possible version of this country we can possibly have, so that yeah, when we finally vote them out, we're like, yeah, we won, we did it. But at the end of the day, we actually didn't. Where the under all that, the rot is actually still getting really, really bad, and everything's still terrible, and everything still sucks. But in comparison to what we had for the last 4 years, it seems like a huge relief. That's my
So you're saying that Trump was a puppet president put there by the Illuminati to make us the Illuminati oligarchy.
Just the oligarchy, yeah. Like I fully assume, I think that the Democrats and Republicans are in on the whole fucking thing, and this is all just it's all meant for us to just kind of just forget much bigger underlying issues with this place.
Skippy.
Yes.
I agree with you.
Well, this is not going to make for a fun podcast. All right.
Fuck, I was going to agree, but now I'm legally obligated to disagree.
Yeah, you signed a disclaimer.
Fuck you.
Damn it.
By the way, if this is in any, I don't follow QAnon, so if this at all goes with some QAnon theories, I am sorry. I do not support QAnon. Okay, I do not. All right. Please hit like and subscribe on my Parler account. But other than that,
mash that button.
Oh wait, that's gone now.
Yeah, I mean.
All right, then I'm moving to Gab.
See, yeah, I don't know.
You got
because watch, Biden, things aren't gonna quote unquote get better under Biden from the way they were, let's say 8 years ago, or even 6 years ago, or even 4 years ago. But they're going to be way better than what we had for the last 4 years under Trump.
Of course,
no, sure.
It's contrast.
I mean, sure. I could see that, but judging from what I've seen from Trump supporters, there's like enough backwater, like I don't know, these people, the shit that they'll believe. I mean, they'll believe anything.
Oh, I think they got more out of them than they ever expected. I thought they were just like, yeah, these people are going to be nuts, but okay, like they'll move on. Now they're just like, oh my God, they're going to fully civil war on this motherfucker. Holy shit. This is amazing.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I hate to say this, but yeah, I could see that, and like, I doubt that really happened, or maybe it did, maybe they were like, oh, sure, let's do this. But the one reason why I don't think that happened is because it doesn't seem like the Republican Party would be like, you know what, I will volunteer to take that bullet, whatever may happen.
But you realize all of them are like, even the ones that are out are like retiring.
Well, you got
with
Hawley,
millions of dollars.
And he's like, yeah, I'm cool and I'm young. While I could absolutely see that happening, I don't think that they would have volunteered for that or taken the hit.
They're funded. Hold on a second. But they're funded they're funded by the wealthy. What do you mean they volunteered? Somebody walks into their office and says, "I will give you $1 million if you just go on camera and say a bunch of stupid shit." I would fucking do. Well, not if it would ruin the country, obviously, but these people, of course, they would walk on and just be like,
Is it obvious? Is it $1 million? say
Okay,
whatever.
I mean they get a lot more for the $1 million, but yes. I mean you got to remember, like these people are taken care of for the rest of their life. Like they will never have a concern, an expense, or anything else to ever worry about. They're all worth millions of
Yeah.
dollars, millions.
Yeah.
Some of them are worth billions. Like fuck.
Oh, come on. You're worth $1 million, I'm sure. Judging by how you say your wife has like 3 shares of Tesla stock.
I mean that's really all you need to be a millionaire at this point.
Yeah.
Like seriously.
Maybe they knew it was going to happen and they inverted themselves.
All right, you
And
want to run this
that's how.
podcast? Fine. Okay, fine.
Wait, Skippy,
Okay, let's work our way backwards
we have
now
to
and
we have
talk
to work
about
on our
Tenet.
time. Right, our time.
Time does not matter, Kevin. Because yeah. Okay, fine. We can talk about Tenet. I would like to start off Tenet, by the way, with something I mentioned to Jerry before in the honest trailer for the movie where they said, shit, what was the line, Jerry?
I don't remember
Oh,
exactly.
they said a movie that has so much inversion that um fuck, what's the name of the director?
Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, a movie that is so full inversion that Christopher Nolan is finally able to shove his own head up his own ass.
That's amazing. If you've seen the movie, that's an amazing comment.
Yeah. All right. So, Tenet. Um,
Wait. Stop. Before we go into anything, Kevin, present us your opinion.
oh.
No.
No.
I want
I
to
want to hear
hear
your
your
opinion.
Well, I hear what
opinion
you're saying, but
No.
yes.
before I
Okay.
say
I
my.
thought.
No,
No.
actually, no, that's fine. No, actually, I think that's fine because we saw it
Okay.
first, so that's fine.
Okay.
I'll start. I walked into it having really bad expectations because I thought Inception was really bad. I thought Interstellar was a complete fucking piece of shit movie. And what was the other one he made? Oh, well, we're not going to talk about Dunkirk because Dunkirk just, yeah, I'm not going to
Yeah, I
get
haven't seen
that's a
it.
whole other
I
genre of
didn't
movie.
even
That's
see
nothing
that,
to do
so
with
who
this.
cares?
Yeah, right. That's nothing to do with this. But I thought, yeah, again, Inception, entertaining but really dumb movie. Interstellar, not entertaining, really horrible, fucking stupid piece of shit movie. And then, so I didn't really expect much from this. And then I watched Tenet, and I was like, oh, I didn't hate this. It was sort of entertaining. And then I started talking to Jerry about it. And by the time we were done, I said, I was like, you know what? No, this movie is actually even worse than Interstellar. This makes no goddamn sense. Christopher Nolan does not understand that he's been having a thought and having an intel. He thinks that every thought he has is a brilliant idea, and he's just so much smarter than everybody else. When in effect, he's a complete idiot. They can't put two fucking things together. Doesn't understand how anything works and doesn't even put enough thought into his movies to think of how like it'll work beyond the initial idea that he had. He's just like, I'm so brilliant, everything else will just sort of fall into place, and it never does. So Tenet is a terrible, terrible movie.
Oh my God!
See,
Of
so
course you
now
would say that.
I don't agree with everything that.
Wait,
Oh,
wait, I did not
oh, you
yield.
weren't done.
I yield
Sorry,
time.
go.
Having said that,
Oh,
though,
not done
it
yet.
was somewhat entertaining to watch. I will sort of, sorry, just add one more thing. For some reason, he doesn't really know how to film. It's really weird because The Dark Knight is one of my favorite movies of all time. I love that movie, and I even defended it when people were criticizing it back in the day. And I thought everything was really well made in there, including the action sequences. For some reason, both Inception and Tenet had this weird third act action sequence, which was so badly shot and just really boring to watch. It makes me really question if really he just doesn't understand how to film those parts at all. Like if you watch like in Inception had that snow battle part where they're all like on skis and
Right,
Yep.
yeah.
stuff, and then this one had this weird war battle thing, and
Yep.
everything just feels really like every scene is just a little too long. Everything's just a little too awkwardly angled. I can't explain it, but I thought that was really one of the weakest parts of the movies. But overall, bad movie, sort of entertaining to watch, and I'm done. I yield the floor.
Thank you. So, yeah,
And another thing.
I
No, I'm done.
with what is it? Interstellar. I thought that was kind of interesting until
Yeah.
they got to like the whole Tesseract part, and then it jumped a shark. But like
Where he said that you can quantify love to travel through time
yeah,
and space. Are you fucking
that
kidding me?
was I mean, that was just stupid. But like the stuff where they went down to, although now that I think about it, when they're like, when we go down to the planet, and they came back and it was like 30 years later. You know what? Going from orbit to a planet down to the planet wouldn't make that much of a difference if you were that close to the black hole. That was
Actually,
stupid.
it would. Actually, it
I
would.
don't
That
think
was like the
so.
one part of the movie that I didn't. I actually think the part where
Actually,
they go on the planet with the wave. I thought that was the only part of the movie I liked. That's
No,
it.
that was cool, but what I'm saying is
it actually would.
I don't think there would be that much of a difference in like 100 kilometers or 100 miles.
Of course it
Like,
would. Of course it would. That close to a
okay,
black hole.
Okay, but we're not
okay,
talking about Interstellar here, so we're
we
trying to get
could
this
we
in.
could we could deal with
That's
the
a whole nother
equations
podcast.
another time. With his
Kevin,
daughter, yes, absolutely. She's back on Earth. She's nowhere near that gravity well. But like I think orbit to the planet, no, it's not going to make that much of a difference.
No, it's okay. They
Um,
did the thing where they folded the magazine in half and put a pencil through it, so it makes perfect sense. It's fine.
okay,
It's
that's
the
fine.
explanation in every time travel movie. You just fold a piece of
Yeah,
paper or a magazine in half, you put a hole through it, put a pencil
that's a
through it, and
wormhole.
yeah,
that's cool.
yeah, physics.
So, what was the
Oh,
other
it
one?
helps if you add the word quantum to it as well.
Yeah. Oh,
Quantum everything.
well,
Yeah,
quantum makes everything better.
right.
As far as Inception, I didn't mind that movie, but I guess like in my mind from day one, like I thought that movie was complete bullshit. So like it
Inception.
was like Inception. So
Inception is totally bullshit, but it is
yeah,
entirely entertaining.
It is very
right.
entertaining.
Yeah,
Yes,
I thought it was kind of cool.
absolutely.
And this, like, and my wife said this, and I agree with her like 1,000%. Christopher Nolan, like, had an idea of like, wouldn't it be cool if like there was a scene where people were going like forwards through time and backwards through time at the same time, and he like made a movie around it. Like
Yes.
Yes.
nothing in the movie actually makes sense, and like the first half of the movie, you're watching it and you're like, I have no idea what the fuck is going on and what these people are talking about, and you're like half not interested. And then they're like, oh, this is what's going on. And you're like, oh, that's kind of interesting. And you watch the movie and you're like, that was kind of interesting. And then after the movie, you think about it and you're like, there's nothing about that could actually work.
Yes, but
And like,
but he somehow he is
Wait.
able.
Hold on, Kevin. If you're gonna talk about the movie, you have to wait for Joe to end, and then you can.
no, that's fine. He can talk. That's
Well,
like
he's gonna
Patiently waiting.
explain
I
his
thought
opinion
that
of
was
the
a
movie.
transaction.
Yeah, no, you
Transition.
need to finish so he can give his whole layout of the movie.
Oh,
oh,
You need to yield the floor, which means you have to shut up.
oh,
Which is something I
okay,
clearly have
okay.
not been able to do since I stopped
So
talking.
anyway, I thought the movie was an interesting and I think Skippy's gonna yell at me for saying this again. And it was an interesting thought experiment, but that's all it was. It was like, huh, what happens if you could move backwards through time? Wouldn't that be neat? Sure, that would. Does he like actually think about or accurately
But it sounds
present
like you
how?
agree with me. What I said was that he thinks that he had one intelligent thought. He didn't need to
Yeah.
expand on it or think it through at all.
Oh
He
no,
just
I
thought it was
totally
so
agree with
brilliant
that.
that it would just make
I meant
sense.
like some of the other movies I didn't mind as much. You were like, I hate this movie. I hate this movie.
Well, I hate
Excuse
everything.
me.
real
I
real
don't
quick. What
mind.
about Memento? Memento
Memento
was
was
good.
great. No, Memento was amazing.
I
I love
haven't
Memento.
seen that. I enjoyed that movie, but I haven't seen it in so many years
Oh, you
that
have? Okay, I thought you said you did.
Oh my God.
He actually made another good movie after that with Al Pacino. I forget. I think it's called Insomnia, which is actually pretty good. It's one of his more like linear. There's no like big twist or whatever, but it's actually a very good movie.
Insomnia.
Yeah, it's with
So
Al
Kevin,
Pacino.
I don't even see it on his IMDb.
Let me make sure that I'm thinking of the right movie. Really, you're not seeing a movie that he did with Al Pacino? Am I thinking of something
Yeah,
wrong?
I don't see it. Anyway, like so
Oh, well, he made The Prestige. That was good. The Prestige was legitimately a
yes.
good movie.
So he
Wait,
is
he did?
definitely making movies about
Who made Insomnia?
some kind of crazy concept, but the genius that he does is that he somehow turns it into a movie that has.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. I apologize. I know I interrupt everybody all the time. If you look under Christopher Nolan in his IMDb thing, it doesn't list it. But if I just go to Insomnia, it says directed by Christopher Nolan.
Huh.
It's with
Wow,
Al
that's great.
Pacino, Robin Williams, and Hilary Swank. I knew I'm not crazy, but it's not listed under his page, which is really strange. Is there another Christopher
No,
Nolan?
he's the director,
That right?
not producer. That is strange. Oh, he's
You
not.
know what this
Oh,
is?
okay. He's not the
This is the
writer.
oligarchy trying to confuse us.
No,
Yeah, there he goes. Insomnia. Yeah.
he's
Okay, I'm sorry.
okay. When I first looked, I was looking on the writer.
Oh, okay,
He's the
right. So,
director of Insomnia. You
oh,
are
it just wasn't.
absolutely correct.
Yeah, so that was actually a really decent movie, and I thought The Prestige was very good as well. But okay, anyway, I'm sorry. I
So
totally interrupted. So go ahead.
no. Well, I have no idea where I was talking.
You just started.
Yeah, you literally
You were
said so.
saying that you were calling him a genius.
Yeah, you said I
the thing
think,
he
and then I
does,
even
which
yelling.
the
Oh, and we're out of time. So anyway, thank you for.
no,
Okay.
I like the movie. It was great. Go see it.
No, I was joking. We're not actually out of time. Keep going. But what do you mean? Okay.
He has the what I said was he's genius because somehow he
He
is
is.
able to present the crazy concept and make it into a movie that still has like mystery twist and like presentation
But
that
that's
is
Here's
just
hold
appealing.
on.
because he's not showing everything. He's like
It's
totally keeping you in the dark. I could I
no,
could
but
make it mystery if I just don't tell you half the shit.
no.
If I
In
wear a
Tenet,
paper
he
bag
had
to this podcast, and at the end I pull it off and go, "Ooh, it's been me all along," I could be like, "I am a genius."
that
Be
mean
like,
that
whoa, that could be a Christopher Nolan movie. Holy
that
fuck.
means
Yeah,
shit.
the podcast.
That means shit to the conversation. Like that doesn't even coalesce to it.
You're
The
really quiet.
no Tenant had I I don't know how to explain it. It had like a progression from the start to the middle to the end.
That is the
That
worst explanation for a movie I've ever seen.
all
The
right.
movie starts and then
So
it
you want
goes and then it ends. Genius, genius.
great, you win,
To
but
Christopher
I
Nolan.
can't explain the situation.
No,
Christopher
no,
Nolan knows how to tell a story that is fucked
Clink.
up. The story is fucked up. I agree, but
Hey,
he
Kevin.
knows how to tell it in a way that makes it actually entertaining. That's
Okay,
the
do me
only
a
way I
favor.
can explain.
Do me a favor. In the remaining time, explain to me the plot of Tenet. Explain to me what happens.
You know I've
No, no. Here's
like,
the thing.
there's
It's actually an
okay.
incredibly simple. I'll admit I had to watch the explainer for it, but the plot of it is actually incredibly simple, and I could explain it in 30 seconds.
Go.
No. I know.
He's
I asked
asking
you to
you first.
because I had to because like I said, like I think it's an
You're
incoherent
asking the
fucking mess
wrong
that I needed
person.
somebody to explain to me. I will admit to it. But after it was explained, I was like, oh, this is actually incredibly simple.
I'm not going to be able to collect all the
Okay, give me
fucking.
okay, give me the basic. Okay, there's a protagonist who's brilliantly called the protagonist. Mind blown. And then
Wow.
there's the bad guy, who of course is an alcoholic Russian guy.
Yeah, sure.
Why
Okay,
isn't he called the antagonist?
yeah, I don't know because it's a different word in Russian. So explain this to me. If okay, what was the Russian guy trying to do? What was his whole thing in the movie? What was he
According to the movie, he was trying to erase a past, but he didn't think it would
uh,
end existence
why was
and
he trying,
invert the entire world timeline.
why was he trying to no well, he wasn't, but at least that's sort of close to the truth, but why was he doing it?
What was in it for him?
Well, he had
He wasn't.
pancreatic cancer.
He was actually helping people inverted in the future, but why was he helping them?
No, he just fucking was gonna die anyway, so we want to take everybody with him.
Okay, that part is right. Okay, he got that. But why? But what was the point of inverting time?
I don't know. I didn't catch that. If there's a thing from him,
That's the main point of the movie. So here's the, and I'm sorry. Okay, that sounded really condescending. I'm not even making fun of you. I just think it's such an incoherent mess that, again, I didn't understand half of it. I got the fact
No,
that the
but
people in the future were trying to invert time because of all they
are
ran
you
out of
both
resources.
telling me that was obvious and like I didn't get it?
Yes, they explained it multiple times in the. It's actually the only thing I did understand was why they wanted to reverse time. It didn't make any
To
sense,
cause
but
the flow to go in the opposite direction with the whole like the pressure in forward overrides the reverse. So like they wanted to do enough reverse to override the forward to go
no,
backward.
no. It was just
no,
like
but
the world in the future was fucked up, so they were like trying to just stop all the bad decisions in the past, and
so
they
here,
don't have
okay.
No,
actual
you're
time.
totally fucking wrong with
No,
that.
he's actually no, Kevin. He's actually completely right. So I'm going to lay you out the
No,
plot
he's
really
not.
quick. No, he is. I'm going to lay out the plot really, really quickly. Here's what happened. In the future, the world is a complete shithole. I believe it's called
So they
2020.
want to
So
reverse
hold
it
on,
to
wait.
just go
No, no, hold on,
backwards
hold
in
on.
time?
No, right, hold on. So in the future, 200 years ahead of time for where we are right now.
200. Where'd you get 200?
I think they said 200. I might be right. That's
Yeah,
not important. The point is, it's way in the. It's
they
a few
made
hundred.
it sound like it was far in the
It
future.
was a few
So
hundred years in the future.
Sure.
The world is basically like global warming and all this has destroyed the planet. I don't know why we haven't left the planet yet, but okay, I guess Elon Musk decided to go on vacation. But the point is, the world sucks. The resources are gone. The world is about to end. They don't know what to do. A brilliant scientist comes up with an algorithm that she can invert all of time. Now, inversion at that point already
The whole
exists.
planet.
She figures out how to invert all of time because much like what's his name during the Manhattan Project, Oppenheimer, she realizes that it's incredibly dangerous. She kills herself and hides the algorithm in 9 different places.
Yeah.
What these people decide to do, these
instead of
maniacs,
just deleting it, why
right?
wouldn't you just
Yeah, I know,
delete
I
it?
I
know.
thought
No, hold on. You can
I
find there's so
agree.
many plot holes in this theory.
Yep.
We've gone over some of them. What they decide to do is they want to find the algorithm and they're going to use it to reverse time. So basically, resources come back, and the planet basically say they're literally just going to erase the past by reliving it by traveling backwards. And that's how they think they're going to save the planet. In order to do that, they send a bunch of money back in time. I'm sorry, they send a package back in time. It's basically this case with a lot of gold in it and instructions, which is supposed to be found by this Russian guy whose name I'm now forgetting. He at the time was digging up uranium in Russia after the Soviet Union fell apart. He's supposed to find this huge box with a lot of money in it, and instructions says to find all these pieces of the algorithm and what their plan is. Well, once he finds all these pieces, he's supposed to put it into this thing underground, blow it up so that it's buried, and then in the future they know where it's buried, so they can dig it up, get the algorithm, and do the inversion. Him dying is the signal that he found all the pieces, buried them in this explosion, and everything is set, and the world gets destroyed basically. You're right. He doesn't care because he has this terminal disease, and he's basically a miserable fuck, as all Russians are. I mean, right here, and
Yeah,
then
sure.
right. So they know that he's right. So that's his motivation. He basically has this whole thing that he mentions various times during the movie, where he says, "If I can't have it, no one else can," and that's his approach to the world. So that's the whole thing. The protagonist is basically. Uh, Obviously figures all this out. He starts up an organization called Tenet, which is basically meant to stop him, and that's kind of where you pick up the movie. He then recruits this guy named Neil in the future, sends him slowly back through time to meet with him again in the past, and together they work to stop him. By the way, did
Although
anybody
he doesn't figure that out until the end of the
until the very
movie
end? By the way, did
that
anybody else figure out that the kid that woman's kid is supposed to be Neil?
not until I watched the new Rockstar video.
Yeah, Kevin, did you pick that up? That that
No.
his that her son is supposed to be his partner when he grows up?
Really? I
Yeah,
did
I
not.
didn't get I didn't get that at all until I watched the explainer. Apparently, it's really obvious. I did not get that at all. Anyway,
Did
okay,
not
so that's
get it.
okay. So that's the plot. And again, I had to
I feel
watch
like I
that
got most of
explained.
it except that.
All right, so that's basically the plot. Now, once you look at it and go, oh, that's an interesting idea. But the thing is, once you put this movie at least somewhat under a microscope, what the fuck? None of it makes sense. None of it makes sense.
That's okay. So this is why it's Christopher Nolan is genius. The movie was
Because it doesn't make
presented.
sense.
No, the movie was
Thank you for
presented.
explaining this thing to me that I didn't understand. That's why he's amazing.
No. When I say genius, it means is able to present a movie that is entertaining, but it is full of clear plot holes and like fucked up logic, which to me is impressive. So I'm calling it genius.
I can't tell if you're trying to blow my mind.
So if you do something that makes absolutely no sense but entertains me, then you should be
That's pretty fucking
leading the fucking
impressive.
world.
But
Yes, you
why?
just said
What?
it.
But why are you? But why is an incoherent, poorly thought out
Is it incoherent?
diarrhea of a film
No,
considered good?
but is it entertaining?
It's a
You
little
follow
bit.
it?
Yeah. No, I will admit it's a
Somewhat.
little bit entertaining because he does shoot scenes very like the scenes are very like pleasing to the eye, like between the music and between the cinematography.
No, but
Yeah,
also
I like
the
watching. I enjoy
mind.
it. Yeah.
The whole like when you're learning about this inversion shit through the main protagonist. He's the first scene after the car scene and like they're in whatever base and he's captured and he's sitting there with the face of the wall, the glass wall. And
Mhm.
then the name of the bad guy is like talking to him through the wall and he's
Silas or something.
yeah, and he's like shooting or whatever, and then like the whole go through the inversion chamber, that rotating room or whatever. You have
Mhm.
to look at yourself. Like he's telling a linear story, but he's got some weird shit going on. Like that is what I'm saying is genius, is because it's this paradox, crazy shit that actually doesn't make sense under scrutiny, but during the movie watch, you're like, wait, this is still a linear storytelling that is like, tense and stressful, and you're like, oh shit, what's the next step? Like to me, that's what makes it genius. I'm not saying it makes sense in logic or science or any of that other stuff, because it
But
fails.
hold on a second. But one of the things you and I always clash about is you tell me like, dude, why can't you just shut up and watch a movie and enjoy it? And in some cases you say like, oh, but it's just, it's dumb. You just turn off your brain and enjoy it. Like this isn't one of those movies. This movie sort of says like, hey, look at me. I'm smart. I'm a think piece. Pay attention to me and try to figure me out. And then when you do and you say, well, that's just really dumb, it goes, oh, you're just an asshole. You just can't enjoy movies. Like it's okay.
Yeah.
Like for example, here's a
the
really
Wait,
opposite.
here's my question. And this
stop
was
and go, what am I looking at? I mean, you might have, but I
but it
I had
breaks
too many
but it
questions
breaks but it
during it
breaks
though.
in the middle.
immersion. It breaks immersion. And one of the biggest ones, and again I mentioned this to Jerry before, and it's the same problem I had with Avengers Endgame, is why is a solution always this brilliant solution is to fucking destroy everything? If they're from the future, here's a thought: if they want to end global warming and all that other stuff, why don't they just send back a bunch of technology that could help us prevent all that? If they know
Yeah.
what's going to happen, why don't they just send one guy who's like, hey, so oil and coal bad, so stop that, and
Oh,
go to
you want to
Mars.
tell the story in your own mind. That's what's you just
No,
I
that's
think for
common
the first
sense,
time,
dude.
That's common sense.
I
Again,
grasp how your
the
mind works.
the thing
That's
with Endgame that
common
everybody
sense.
It's
the thing
not.
with Endgame that everybody said was that if Thanos really wanted to help things, instead of destroying half of the life in all the universe, why didn't he just snap his fingers and double all the resources in the universe, or triple or quadruple them? Why is the solution by these brilliant masterminds of evil is to just fucking destroy literally everything?
Yeah. I mean,
You realize
honestly,
the reason why the one solution out of millions was because he changed his mind from killing half the universe to I'm gonna rewrite the universe. That's why it actually failed.
What?
no.
No, that's not what I'm
Yes,
getting
yes,
at.
yes,
I'm
yes,
just
yes.
okay. No,
you're
no, no, no.
missing
I'm
the
just getting
point.
no. I'm just getting why is a solution to destroy as opposed to fix? There's a simple fix. Just like I could say,
Right.
you know what? If they're trying to send a bunch of advanced weaponry back, how about not sending a bunch of backwards flying bullets, but send like laser guns or something from the future?
Yeah, really.
They're trying to help them, and they're just like,
There's
here's
no
a bunch of
laser guns, you
here's a
dumbass.
bunch of gold and an AK that can shoot in reverse.
There's no
So
laser guns.
so actual fact, like some of the first vehicles ever created were electric cars, but they did like there wasn't the battery technology or whatnot wasn't that good back then. But instead, if they inverted time and sent technology like solar panels and good batteries from 200 years in the future
Right.
back, that stuff would have taken over, and like the whole gas coal industry would have never happened.
Good
All of that
movie, Jerry
pollution.
Nolan. Make it.
Okay, he's got you there though.
Awesome. Fucking make it, Jerry Nolan.
I'll do that.
Awesome
I'll,
sauce.
I'll
I would love that movie too.
Uh,
My point is, if you're a fucking writer slash producer slash director, and you're gonna, like, I'm gonna pick wide ass bullshit, illogical, crazy, paradox crap, and I'm gonna make it into a movie that actually starts with like intrigue and action and forward progress and like twists.
why are you dancing sexily on my camera?
The-
You like sell this movie to me.
Oh yes,
Sure.
intrigue.
And then you get to the end and you're like,
Action.
oh fuck. Inception was just as fucked up. Like, who believes you can like inject shit that's gonna make
Well, I had some of the same problems with Inception. I mean, again, if you put this movie under a microscope, let me ask you this. And once again, I have to say this is something me and
why do their
Well,
fucking
Jerry-
dreams
No, no, no.
all
Hold-
gel
just
together
hear me-
because you fucking inject the same shit? That
No,
doesn't
because
make any
the thing-
sense.
There are things he puts into the movie that are completely needless, again, just to make himself seem intelligent. Like the oxygen thing. Like this is something Jerry and I talked about.
That
Why
was
is the oxygen and what did they say? And driving a car the only thing that's reversed? What about everything else? If you're going to say that oxygen can only be breathed in, I think the example we used was, wouldn't light also be moving backwards? So you wouldn't be able to see shit.
anything.
What about
You'd be
atmospheric
blind.
pressure?
That is fucking funny.
Yeah, what about
The-
pressure? All that stuff. Wouldn't you just be
you're right.
blind? Would you just be blind, deaf, suffocating, and exploding as soon as you invert yourself?
Hence, genius. Because he
Oh,
fucking
what?
induces
Oh my
he
God.
induces you to suspend
That's
reality. What
Kevin,
is it
Kevin,
called?
wait,
No,
Kevin.
No,
By
no,
your definition,
no, shut up.
Trump
The
is a
suspend.
genius.
No, he's
Yeah,
genius
no,
because
yeah, no,
somehow
that's true.
he tells
Absolutely
a
true.
story. He
Yeah.
tells a story where you're supposed to suspend. What the fuck is it called?
Suspend disbelief.
I
Yeah.
never suspended it though. It was never suspended. I never. There's not a. Every time they said anything, every time they said, "Okay, but here's what's going to happen,"
Did
and you
you
invert
say it
yourself,
was
my
entertaining?
reaction was, "Wait,
Did you
what?"
say it was entertaining? Did you say it was entertaining?
But there are much worse things that are entertaining. There are really, really dumb. Yes, but it doesn't make it a good. Okay, there's entertaining movies that are really stupid that don't take themselves
That's
serious.
all I mean. That's all my point is. Like the movie.
No, you
was
said no, no, no,
entertaining.
no. You said he was a genius. That's not. I'm
He's
not.
a genius because somehow he turns suspended disbelief, whatever the fuck it is, in
It sounds
his
like he's a
movies.
genius because he
he
convinces a
seeds it
bunch of dumb
full
people
with
to
that
think
shit.
that he's a genius.
No, he seeds it full with bullshit, and somehow it comes out to be an entertaining movie. That is like amazing B movie shit.
So you
Okay,
like
but
people-
so was the end. What was it? The End of the World. The Seth Rogen. What was that movie where he's like they
it was-
summon the
I think
devil
it was
or
called the
something?
End- I think it actually was called The End of the World.
Yeah, that was a
Might
great
have been.
movie.
No, it wasn't.
Total
I mean, that was just
suspension of
comedy.
disbelief.
Come on,
Oh, that movie was terrible.
dude. You don't put suspend disbelief in a movie that doesn't give a shit about actual reality.
Yeah, but he doesn't. But that's the thing you have to remember, Christopher Nolan. He doesn't approach his movies in that way. He actually thinks he's a fucking genius. He thinks that these ideas and concepts and these procedural
My
things that he
genius
puts
is
in
not
there
his
are
genius.
actually smart. Like, okay, like I guarantee you, when he came up with that whole thing about that they have to wear oxygen masks because of the breathing thing, I
Yeah.
promise you, he was sitting in his office writing that part of the script, just jerking it as hard as he fucking can to himself. Because he was
No.
like, "Oh my God, I am so goddamn smart."
What
That-
I said is
that
the
was
only
stupid.
reason for that was that there needed to be some visual cue that of which direction in time they were going for, and that's all it was.
Genius.
No, it's not genius because then you're like, that makes no fucking sense. That's pretty fucking dumb.
No,
Okay,
if
the better
no,
thing was
slow
like
down,
the
slow
armbands that
down.
they had, the blue
Imagine
and the red
this.
armbands.
Imagine this. He didn't introduce the reverse breathing shit.
Okay.
I would
And
have thought that would
now
have been better.
all
Skippy and
air
I
is
wouldn't have
coming
been
out of your
saying that was
lungs
so
instead
fucking
of.
dumb.
Hey Kevin, I have a question for you. What if Neil knew that he was going to die at the end, that he was going to get shot? Why didn't he just either disarm the guy, take the bullet out of his gun, or wear a bulletproof vest?
Oh my god, Skippy, that's genius.
No, seriously, please explain to me that. If they literally explain that they travel back in time and he literally saw that thing play out, why didn't he just do that?
You
Wait,
saw him running around in 3 different places. He could have taken a gun and shot the guy at
Yeah,
any point in time.
why did he need to take the bullet and die? Why didn't he just prevent that from happening? They just prevented the end of the world. He can't prevent from one guy firing his gun?
I am
Genius.
lost with what you're talking about. The
You
scene.
got genius. That's it.
At the end, Neil, like, he even said, "Hey, take my third. I've got something to do." He was basically going to
He's going
die.
to walk in and go into
He was going to
the
get
pit.
shot. Yeah,
The
he
pit.
dies at the end. You realize he basically sacrifices himself at the end.
Yes, because he's like, it's already happened. Yeah. He like reversed his reversal, and then he's gonna go play it out in forward time.
Okay,
Yeah,
here's another question for you to
that
think.
part's not. I mean, that's like the end of the
That
movie,
part's
and it's
not
like,
so genius.
no,
It's
That part's
that's
medium
that part's
genius.
wearing a little bit of a helmet. Okay, if we have to.
no, only because he didn't tell the story about him reversing back to go do that.
He
No,
what?
but you
He
that
tells
was
him at the end.
understood. You saw that part. Yes, it was told by the little thing on his backpack.
Yeah,
That's how
the
you're like,
backpack.
oh,
Yes,
that's
I
Neil.
understand. Right. Oh shit, he's the guy that was on the floor dead.
Yes, he was.
Yes, I know.
Okay, why did he need to die?
Because if he's not there, he's not going to take the shot for the other guy.
But why did he need to take the shot? Why can't he just disarm the guy or shoot him or wear a fucking bulletproof vest?
Because then we would need another like 15 minutes of movie to see like, oh, there was a struggle and like, oh shit, he
It's
got in the way.
already
Oh, he was shot.
It's already 7 hours long. It's fine.
Yeah, right. You know.
We can see the Twinkle Vampire guy just beat the shit out of the evil Russian dude. It's fine.
It's so funny because he looks like shit at his age.
Well, he's the new Batman now, so you better be nice to him.
Well, he's pretty old because
yeah, you
if
didn't
that
know that
was
he's in the new Batman. He's the new
No,
Batman.
it went back to somebody else. I don't. It's not him.
No,
yes, it
there's a
is.
new
They're
no. They're
pretty
gonna
much done with it.
yeah. Warner Brothers is gonna have two DC universes. In one of them, there's a new movie called that's coming out that's just called The Batman, and it's with him, and he's playing Batman. And then the other one you're thinking of is where Michael Keaton is going to be reprising his role as Batman, but that's like literally another like universe that they have. But yes,
Wait. They
Robert
have
Pattinson.
those. What about not Matt Damon.
Damon.
Matt Damon. The other guy, Ben Affleck.
So
Who?
Ben
No,
Affleck.
he's gone.
Okay, no, yeah, Ben Affleck was supposed to come back and be in the movie where Michael Keaton is also Batman. There's going to be two people playing Batman at various ages or something like that. Affleck is out, Michael Keaton is still in. So it's kind of like, you know how they have like the Batman movies and they had like Joker, which is kind of like tied into the universe, but is actually its own thing. So that's what they're going to do. So this new movie called The Batman with Robert Pattinson is closer to what like Joker was versus what like Wonder Woman, Justice League, and all that shit is.
I'm confused because what's
Yes,
going to
it's very-
happen when they try to do Justice League 2?
They're not. First of all, they're not doing Justice League 2. And second of all, what do you mean? It's going to be nothing. If anything, if they did another Justice League 2, it would be tied into the movie
Holy
where
shit.
Michael Keaton is in it.
That's
Skippy?
confusing.
Yes, it's very.
Wow.
Well, you know what?
Holy
Hey,
fucking shit.
Snyder Cut's coming out in a few months.
I actually really want to see that.
I really want to see it. I really,
I'm
really want
looking
to see
forward to that.
it. It's
It's
going to
supposed to be what, 6 or 8 hours long?
It's 7 hours broken up into like 3 parts or something, or 4 parts or something like that. It's going to be fucking horrible. I cannot wait.
Which means I'm going to love it.
Yeah, I can't wait till it's argument. It's going to be like, this makes no sense. Why the hell is Batman wearing high heels? And Kevin's going to be like, no, that's genius. Because if you can make Batman, do all that in high heels and I have a boner because of it, then you're a genius. Okay? That's right. You can park the whole Batmobile right here, big boy.
So, the entire Batmobile.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think we're in agreement. Tenet is a terrible fucking movie.
Yeah, okay.
And
I have to go back to this whole Max Neil thing because the whole part is that like I understand that the whole thing that Christopher Nolan is saying is okay. Let's say there's not time travel per se, but you can reverse the flow of time. So what the fuck was Neil doing? Even if it wasn't Max, if he was from the future when the protagonist like had all this set up and had trained him and everything, did he just sit and jerk it for like 17 years while he was
It was
going
a
back through time?
Inception pincer movement.
No, but he would have to go back through time. If he was coming from the future, he had to like a 1-to-1. He had to sit around, like breathing his special
Who?
oxygen.
No, they were both in
Neil.
real time.
No,
No.
Neil,
No,
but
Neil
he had
was
to
not in real
travel.
time. Neil was
He had
from
to
the
Flipped
travel.
again
future.
at the end.
No. You guys are talking about two different times. In order to get to this timeline, he had to travel backwards. So yes, Jerry is saying that like for like 20 years, he would have to walk around with his fucking oxygen tank while he
No, he
lived in
flipped.
reverse, and then he could take it off, flip, and move forward
No,
again.
at the end of the movie, they were both there.
What?
Yes, and he said
That's not.
this has been the culmination of a long friendship.
Yeah,
Like
he's
we've
from
been
the
friends
future.
for years.
Yeah,
So
Neil's
he
from the
was
future.
friends for years with the protagonist. Then he's like, okay, here it's 2040. I need to go back to 2020. And then he has to basically get in the little fucking turnstile, which does all it does is open up another door, and somehow you're going backwards through time. What the fuck?
And then
And
he
he would
inverted
sit.
again
He was
in the
inverted,
old.
and but he had to be inverted for those 20 years to get back to
Yes,
2020,
exactly.
where
No,
he
Yes.
got
he
into a
inverted and then he
turnstile
inverted
again,
again, and then
and
now he's
then he
normal
was
20.
going forward.
Yeah,
If he
but yeah, but
didn't
yeah,
have
but
a
He had to
Kevin,
do
mask
it
on,
twice.
he was inverted
but
forward.
No, you're
Kevin,
fucking wrong.
No, Kevin. They explained. They said. They even said when the protagonist goes in before he gets into the car, they even tell him they're like the world is inverted, but you're not. So you basically you're moving backwards in time, but you're aging normally. So if you wanted to go back 20 years, you literally have to live 20 years to go back
It's
that
not
far.
a time machine.
Right. You
It
don't
just
just jump
changes
20
the
years in the
direction
past.
you're going.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if you walked in one direction for 3 miles and
You're
got into
saying 20
something
years in the future,
and
he had
went
to go
back to
backwards 20
get
years?
Yes, he actually
yes.
says that. They knew each other in the future, so he had to travel back 20 years by literally living backwards for 20 years. How the
But
fuck did he do that?
I mean, that's not the story at the moment, right? That's not the
No,
movie.
No, that
That's
is the
something
movie.
that happened.
it's a basic tenet of the movie.
Ooh.
You like
Oh,
that?
Oh,
Boom.
fuck
Mike,
you.
that's a
Dropping
mic.
that mic,
That's a mic drop.
bitches.
Yeah.
No,
So,
it's again just one of those things that you're always like, oh, how did he do? Wait, that makes no fucking sense.
right.
That's why it's genius.
Uh,
Because you
Oh,
don't give a fuck
God.
about that shit until the end when you start.
Obviously, I do.
yeah, and clearly so do I.
But when you watch the movie, you were like, and then you
Yes,
thought
because
about
I
it,
had
and
no
now
idea
you
what the
hate it.
fuck was going on. Yeah, that's exactly it. While I was
You
watching it, I'm
liked
like,
it,
I
but
have
now
no idea
you
what the
hate
fuck's
it.
happening. No, I don't. Here's the thing. I will stand by what I said. It is entertaining to watch. But the reason it doesn't work is because if you enjoy it, if you turn your brain off and just watch it and enjoy it, okay, fine. But that's not the kind of movie it is. It is not the turn your brain off kind of movie. So if you're forcing me to sit there and think and figure it out, then I'm going to figure out that you're full of shit and this movie makes no sense, and then the movie's crap.
But when
Uh,
you watched
we
it for
had
2.5 hours, you enjoyed it.
Kevin. We had in-depth discussions about
Also,
this.
also, Kevin, I'm gonna ask you one more thing before we wrap this up, since we're way over time. Really quick, watch that movie again and explain this part to me.
I'm
In
gonna
the very
probably watch it like 30 times, by the
Yeah,
way.
you would. Yeah, because that's what all geniuses do. Let me ask you
30,
this.
30
So,
days.
yeah, in the very beginning when they do the opera raid, And I noticed this before. I asked Jerry about this. So I obviously had no idea what the fuck's going on in the movie, and I didn't know anything about the action thing. And I thought it was just done just for the sake of highlighting who the protagonist of the movie was. But when they're rating the opera thing, there's one scene in the beginning where all the SWAT guys are lined up, and you see all their faces, and all their faces are fogged up except for the protagonist. Keeping in mind the way the whole mask and oxygen thing works, and it's working in reverse, let me know if you think that means something, or whether that's just an effect just to so you can see the main actor's face. Because if it's not, that means that either he's inverted during the opera scene, or they're all inverted in the opera.
I think
scene.
he's normal, and
I
the
didn't
rest
ask for
are
an answer right
inverted.
now.
Yeah, see, I don't think either, because if you're
That's possible.
inverted, but if you're inverted, you're going to be walking backwards. People are going to be like, "What the fuck's wrong with him? He's walking backwards."
No. Unless those people knew that they would be inverted, and they're walking in such a way that makes them look like they're moving forwards.
Okay,
I mean,
you
you
need to
have-
have some
that's fucking-
serious fucking training for that, dude.
Yeah, I agree with
Serious.
that.
Here's
You
the thing.
need to-
But once again, if that's inconsequential, then that falls in line with everything else, where it's like, why the fuck is this part of the movie
No, it
if
just
it's not
doesn't
meant to
make
be on purpose?
sense. Okay, like
Nothing in that
the
movie
one
makes
No,
inverted
but
bullet
Skippy's
in there.
point is, like,
That's-
fog or no fog? Ooh.
The inverted bullet in the in the opera house, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
Like Neil was there, and I think that's just saying like, oh, Neil was here. Look, see, there was an inverted bullet. Like that doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make sense. You're absolutely fucking correct. Because when that like scientist woman right after the opera scene puts 2 bullets on the table, and then she like holds her hands up, like, did it go through a chamber and she's holding it? Like it's an object instead of a person, so you don't see it moving until you do some kind of thing with intent to pull it? Like
Yeah,
why
that doesn't make any
is a
sense.
forward person able to actually interact with an inverted?
Yeah, that
Like,
that
so
part didn't make any sense.
There's a
to me, yeah.
whole layer of this science shit that doesn't make any sense. I totally
As
agree.
I said, it's a cool thought experiment.
Yes,
It just doesn't work out.
I
But
agree
it's not.
with
No, see, I disagree. I don't think it's a thought experiment, because a thought experiment is thought through and is an experiment. This is
No.
one guy who just either was
Christopher
high or
Nolan.
drunk, had one stupid idea and made
He
a movie
does.
out of it.
Yes, I totally.
There's no
fucking,
thought in it.
Christopher Nolan comes up with, well, what if? And
Yes,
like he's like,
yes.
I'm gonna put it. That's what he comes up with, a what if. He doesn't fucking explain everything, and yet it's still entertaining. I call that genius.
Oh my god.
It doesn't fucking make sense at all.
Yeah, it's like when somebody becomes president, doesn't think it through at all, doesn't have no idea what the fuck they're doing, destroys a country. Genius.
That's genius. That is genius.
I find it hard to say it's not genius like
Oh,
that.
Kevin?
Fucking.
Alright.
Kevin?
Hey,
I'm not
gonna
saying it's
submit
smart,
Kevin's
Kevin.
name to a special
Listen.
website.
No, the fact that
I'm
he
going to say
fucked
this.
the entire, like, half the country to get elected. He knows
yeah,
how to fucking manipulate
I
people.
mean, yeah, I do have to agree with that. He did get 70 fucking
Genius
million
slash
people to vote
insanity,
for him.
you know,
After
whatever.
everything he did, 70 million people still voted for him. So yeah, that's kind of genius. I have to agree there.
I'm just being objective to the.
Yeah, no, that's true.
I'm not
Okay.
saying.
Okay, so what
women
we
or whatever.
figured out today is that Tenet sucks. Donald Trump is a genius.
Don't say that shit.
Here- This is the world we live in.
All right, I hated Tenet, just like I hate.
Or maybe it's the world that we're inverted in, or
By the
going
way,
to live in, or wait, no, I'm
There's
doing
a movie
this wrong.
coming out called A Glitch in the Matrix, by the way, that I sent you guys, where they talk
Yeah, I
about.
know. I want to watch
I
that.
don't want to see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about us living in a simulation. But anyway, we're way over time, so we got to wrap it up. So
Good night,
since it's
Skippy.
no,
Oh, wait,
not
we're
good
not
night.
quite
It's
there
the-
yet. Sorry.
yeah, because it's the first podcast of the year. We have to
You-
have some
you-
inspiring
Skippy.
closing thoughts.
No, you know what? My final thoughts is I love Kevin. Kevin's a genius. He's Kevin's genius.
Okay.
No.
I came up with an algorithm.
Oh,
I'll tell
okay.
you that.
Yeah, exactly. It's true. It's true. He is the Kevin. What was it? The Kevin value, whatever the fuck I don't know. I'd have to.
Kevin has the
listen.
highest Kevin score of anything in the world.
Yeah.
I
No,
have
but
spent
we had
time
we had
being
specific good names for it. then I've had too much peanut butter whiskey to actually remember them.
Okay, we're just
But
gonna.
you know what? I think I if 2020 if 2021 is worse than 2020, then you know what? Hats off to 2021. It's genius.
If it's a completely incoherent mess, then 2021 is genius. All right, Kevin, what's your closing thought?
Thank you.
Great.
Thank
Hey, you know
for
what?
all the genius comments.
Yes. Okay. Well,
For 2021, let's have more than 4 episodes
yes.
for season 3.
Yes, let's make sure we do that. Kevin, thank you for going in depth on Cyberpunk and Hades, by the way. I appreciate it. That was really great. You've convinced me to download Hades, so I'm going to go do that. So thank you for that.
That's great. You don't have to download Cyberpunk, but definitely download.
I am not going to. It's just too genius for me. Jerry, thank you for also being here. I'm not even going to have a final thought. Just fucking learn from 2020 and do better in 2021. That's it. That's it.
Yay.
Yeah. Anyway, a pleasure to hear from both of you. And yes, let's please do more of these this year than we did last year.
I would really like to. I enjoy this.
I'm optimistic about 21, so I think we'll be able to do that.
Good.
Cool. All right. I'll talk to you guys later then.
Good night, Skippy.
Good night.
This has been a production of
It's just me.
Studios.